I'm Dr. Guy Harvey. I'm chairman of the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation and chairman of Guy Harvey Enterprises. My first memory of fishing is growing up in Jamaica, fishing with my parents in a dugout canoe in the heydays in the 50s and 60s when there were still a lot of fish around. I became aware of the need to protect the oceans by the time I'd finished my PhD in the early 80s and seeing a lot of the destruction of coral reefs and fish resources around my home island of Jamaica and throughout the wider Caribbean, in fact. Conservation to me means fishing sustainably, or whatever action you're actually using on the ocean, to do it in a sustainable fashion. I'm not against fishing, I'm against overfishing. Our expeditions were launched for different reasons, some of them for research work, some for getting content for different documentaries, but nowadays they're multidisciplinary in terms of looking for inspiration for new paintings, as well as deploying tags and executing research work, but also for storytelling. Our expeditions really began in the Caribbean and they spread to Central America, particularly the Pacific coast. The Eastern Tropical Pacific is a very productive area where we're now spending a great deal of time researching sharks, billfishes and tunas. The biggest change I've seen in the ocean is definitely the reduction of fish stocks, but also the degradation of our precious coral reefs. In comparison, the baseline is set now by what we see in Cuba, on the south side especially, where there is no fishing, no development, no siltation, and no detrimental forces at work, and we find that the reefs there are in very good condition. Sharks are really important in all aquatic circumstances. There's over 500 different species of sharks on the planet, and they've been around for over 400 million years. They're a very successful group of animals. So their removal from all of these different niches is causing unknown, unmeasurable effects. One of the issues facing sharks, as we're learning through our research work, is that they are highly migratory. They don't live in one spot. They go from country to country. In fact, looking at mako sharks alone in the Western Atlantic, we track them going through the waters of 17 different countries. Very hard to manage. And so the enforcements or regulations put in by one country may not be adopted by another. So the management has to come from a regional approach where an area of the ocean is taken, not just one section of it in terms of management. And everybody has to be on board. It's the same for other highly migratory species like billfishes and tunas. Our oceans can certainly flourish again. There are problems, for example, with the cod fishery off the Grand Banks of Canada, which was one of the most massive fish populations ever written about, and they have been exhausted virtually to nothing and they have not come back. There are several species of whales that are not coming back nearly as fast as people thought they would, even though whaling was stopped back in 1984. Here at home, with the Nassau grouper, we have a wonderful success story. 20 years worth of protection, study, enforcement by all sorts of organizations, including our own Department of Environment, have brought back the spawning population of Nassau groupers in Little Cayman to almost to what they were 30 years ago, perhaps. So, yes, it can work. It takes research, it takes education to achieve conservation. And so the drive that we are pursuing now is not only the research aspect, but the education of the kids to be better stewards of the environment, to know more about the resource, to love it, and therefore to respect it and care for it.